Jon Thaxton, former British and European champion boxer. Someone I know a great deal about. I first come across you. Oh, I used to buy boxing news every week. So the first time I'll have come across you will have been about '96. And I used to follow a boxer called Paul Scrap Iron Ryan.
Yeah.
And there was a picture of you in the boxing news, stood up, and him laid out.
Yeah.
And obviously, I started following your Ingle career. It's fair to say you were very much part of that world-renowned, famous Ingle stable. Your Nassim Ahmeds, your Pele Reid.
In the late 90s, 96, 97, 98, yeah, I was like a big part of that. Brendan Ingle walks into the gym. He says, and I'll do an accent to start with, but I won't keep it going on. I said, Jono, he said, do you want to fight tomorrow night? I said, yeah. It's what I do. I fight. That's what I do. That's what professional boxers do. I said, yeah, no problem. I said, who am I fighting? He went, Scrap Iron Ryan. I looked down and went, shit. I went, no problem, Brendan. He said, do you want to know how much money you're going to earn? I said, not a chance, Brendan. I'm not interested. I'm going to knock him out. And Brendan walked out of the gym. He went, good on you, lad. Good on you. I say, we'll leave at 10 o'clock, whatever. We had to go down there to weigh in. It was originally for the British and Commonwealth title. Then on the day, on the weigh-in, he came in £2 over the weight. So they didn't want to make it a title fight. Well, in a way, in the long run, it was good for me. Because you got to remember, I was a novice pro.
Yeah.
I was a novice pro with a punch. And a lot of ambition. And sometimes boxers like that need to be protected from themselves.
Mm-hmm.
But you don't know that till after the event. Till after my career, I can sit back now and turn around and say, be honest with myself. So I went in there, knocked him out one round. Fantastic. I'd arrived. Frank Warren then signed me up. We went on from there. We went the Intercontinental route. Scrap Iron Ryan had to then rebuild himself. Yeah. And his next fight was against Andy Holligan. Now, let's be fair. Andy Holligan was a very experienced fighter at the time. Well, he was a very experienced fighter. I wasn't. And from where I just had a fantastic knockout, for me to then go straight in a game with Andy Holligan to defend the British and Commonwealth title, he was #1 contender. I think I would have been out of my depth. That's just my opinion. And Andy Holligan went on. He won the British and Commonwealth title off Scrap Iron. He knocked Scrap Iron Ryan out. But people have got to remember, I done it first.
Yeah. Do you know what? He was a character. You know, when he put his arms out like that, he'd broken his arm. So he was kind of like disfigured. But for a guy who, I mean, it's like a lot of Terry Norris was the same. Thomas said, for a guy who could really punch, he was extremely vulnerable. And like you could watch Scrap Iron Ryan sometimes, and he'd be rocked off jabs.
Yeah,
he would. Demolition job on him. I was like, who the hell's this guy? And you had these really strange shorts on. I remember looking at the boxing news.
Black and gold, my colours.
I think they were like tassels, or like Nassim Ahmed.
No, they were later on, but yeah, I did wear. Some funny designs, but yeah, they were always black and gold, my shorts. But like I said, it was an opportunity, and let's be fair about it. Life's full of opportunities.
Yeah.
And I took that opportunity, and if I hadn't have taken that opportunity, where would I have gone in my career? Who knows? You might never have heard of me. Opportunity, hell of a risk. But look at the reward I just got. Live on Sky TV, Frank Warren, a big audience, knocking out a bit of a fan favourite in Scrap Iron. Fan favourite him. So I arrived, I'd done the job. Happy days. I move on.
So there was a story we spoke the other day. Obviously, I spoke to you regarding the Junior Winter biography. It was really stuck in my head for days because you said I was that bad in a boxing gym that the second time I ever went, they said you can't come anymore because you're so shit. What's the story?
Right, what happened? Well, I was a kickboxer. Now, let me tell you, I couldn't kick and I couldn't punch, right? But I could have a fight. I could have a tear up in the kickboxing ring. But I wanted to improve my kickboxing. So I needed to join a boxing gym. So I joined the boxing gym and I thought I trained well because one thing about me, I was very eager to learn, very dedicated and want to soak up every bit of knowledge someone gave me. You know, if someone wanted to talk to me, I want to listen. And I suppose a lot of work with me, I tried too hard. Well, if someone tried to shoot me something, I tried too hard to do it. So second time I went to the gym, same gym, Broadside boxing gym, Norwich Broadside. Guy come up to me, the trainer said to me, "Jonathan, come here." I went, yes, thinking he's going to give me some advice or help me out. He said, "Get your bag, get your stuff, and get out." I said, "What?" He said, "Get out of my gym." I said, "Why?" He said, "Because you're crap." Now, I'm 8 or 9 years old at the time. I'm 8 or 9 years old. How the hell do you think that made me feel?
Can I ask you a question? Did you ever go back and speak to him when you were British champion?
I did. I see him in the gym one time, another gym. And he said, Jono. I said, last time I saw you, you kicked me out. And I was going to give him both barrels. And I was going to really tear into him. And I thought, you know what? Why? The guy's an old guy now. What good will it do me? But when someone tells me I can't do something, even as a youngster, I want to prove them wrong. Mm-hmm. So when he kicked me out of the gym, I look at that as one of the best things that's happened in my life. Because I turned around, I joined another gym, and I wanted to prove that man wrong. I want to show him how good I could have been and a missed opportunity he had. And I think I've done it.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you know, when I think of Norwich boxers, obviously there's Danny McIntosh, there was the Walsh brothers that come a little later after you. Herbie Hyde.
Sam Sexton.
Who?
Sam Sexton.
I didn't know he was from Norwich, but to be honest, it's not. It's like, you know, Manchester, London, Liverpool, Leeds, the fighters. Norwich doesn't strike me as a proper pugilistic city. Am I right?
No, it's not. It's not. You got one man down in Norwich who's the one there, and that's Graham Everett.
Yeah.
And he is so passionate about the game and about the sport. And like I said, I went on and I had my second part of my career with Graham Everett because I had a car accident. I had to retire for a couple of years, then made a comeback. And I teamed up with Graham. And Graham absolutely put his passion, heart and soul into developing me. And we learned together on the road and we became British and European champion together. I say together because we made it together. We done it together.
You were definitely what I would call a late bloomer in boxing. Like as time went on, particularly in your European run, you know, kind of, I'm just trying to think, like 2007, I think you fought John Murray. No, maybe a bit earlier that you fought John Murray. 2009. Remember, you come to the ring with that song, "Tonight's gonna be a good night." I just remember. But obviously, a guy who you know very, very well, Junior, the hitter witter. Junior said to me, "I needed to speak to you." What's your memories on Junior? Because you must have sparred a lot of rounds together.
Oh, me and Junior sparred many, many rounds, and there was very few times I got topside of Junior Witter. He was brilliant, and I think so underrated.
Yeah.
For what he could, you know, but let's be fair about it. British, Commonwealth, European, WBC world champion. Fantastic resume. And he comes to the gym. he come to the gym, and we used to train at different times. And then we finally met, and we were sparring, and he was strong, awkward, and relentless. And you couldn't hit him, as Brendan would, one of Brendan's favourite words, couldn't hit him with a handful of rice if he didn't want you to.
Mm-hmm.
We used to train together throughout 96, 95, 96, 97, 98, before I had my car accident. And we went to Gran Canaria together, challenge each other, push each other. But he was always the man. Let's be fair about it. And I'm happy to admit that now. When I was fighting, I wouldn't admit it. Of course you wouldn't. But now I'm a lot older, a lot wiser. He was a very exceptional fighter.
And so there's a chapter in this book, and it's called, I hope I'm not giving nothing away, but the chapter's called My Mate Ricky. So obviously you fought Ricky Hatton.
Yeah.
Junior was his nemesis, if you like. Bearing in mind you've done 12 rounds with Ricky Hatton, you've done, I don't know, dozens, maybe hundreds with Junior. Give me your thoughts.
It's a tough ask for either fight. It depends when they boxed where the decision would have gone. My opinion.
Yeah.
If they boxed a certain time when they were calling each other out, or Junior was calling him, maybe Junior would have got the nod. But another time, Ricky might have got the nod. It would have been one of them. That's how I see it. Ricky was relentless, and Ricky was the fans' favourite. Junior was awkward, but as Ricky is as well, very talented. And like I say, Junior was very, very strong. Who would have won? Depends who had it on the night. That's how close a fight I think it would have been. Depends which man turned up on the night.
Well, what I'll tell you, what I'll know for a fact was the bookies had Junior favourite. When Junior stepped aside, whatever it was, I think that's what Junior said in his book, and you fought Hatton, the bookies had him favourite then, but as the years went on, and Ricky obviously was like, world level, I think Hatton would have been the favourite then.
Yeah. I would have thought Ricky would have been the favourite, but people didn't know. A lot of people didn't know how good Junior was.
Yeah.
He then started showing his class when he won the world title.
I'm talking in the period, Jono, where he had 15 fights, 15 wins, 15 knockouts.
Yeah, he was on a hell of a run.
He was defending his WBU, I think it was, and obviously Junior totally cleaned up domestically and was kicking on for a world title.
Yeah.
Obviously when they were both world champions, 2006, 2007, then I would imagine the bookies would have had Hatton the favourite. Understood.
Yeah.
But I mean, for someone who went 12 rounds with Ricky Hatton, how good or how bad was his body punching? I mean, was it?
Let me tell you, when people ask me my favourite fight, people say, "What's your favourite fight? What's your favourite fight?" I always say the Ricky Hatton fight. They said, "But you lost." I said, "Maybe I lost, but I bloody enjoyed that night." He whacked me to the body. Mentally, I prepared for that. 5,000 sit-ups a day leading up to the fight. Okay? 5,000 every day. And then when he hit me to the body, I just think, you ain't hurting me. I've done my homework. But what also helped me in that fight was his cut.
Yeah.
His cut opened up in the first round. Now, I'm an honest guy. And I'll talk honest about my career. I cut him in the first round. Should the fight have been stopped? A lot of people said it should have been. I'm glad it wasn't, because it was a memorable fight and people still come up to me and talk to me about it. So I'm glad it wasn't. I'm glad it went the distance, and I'm glad I done what I done. But that cut stopped him coming in maybe and using his close range body shots. So that's what helped me a little bit.
You know, Hatton definitely. He doesn't get. I mean, you can't win in nearby years as an 18-year-old kid, and I think he went to the World Olympics. He won a silver or something like that. So he had a proper boxing
pedigree.
Yeah, and you know, he basically. I watched that fight. I watched it live. I watched it not long back. He was smart. He listened to his cornerman Billy Graham, and he said, "Listen, just move." And yeah, I mean, listen, I've read comments. People think you won. Hatton got it, but yeah, you know, there was other people you fought as well. Oh God, I mean, Eamon McGee. What was that like? Tough, rugged Irish man.
Eamon McGee was a good fighter. I'll tell you something. I'll tell you a story about Eamon McGee. Right, I trained hard for him. I was all up for him. I was ready for the war. McGee was coming. Irish lad. I was ready for this. I spoke to his trainer a few years ago, his old trainer, and he said,
Gary Breen.
We had a chat, and he said, Eamon McGee only ever trained for one fight in his life. And it says it in his book. I said, you got to tell me the only fight he trained for was me. He said, correct. He said the only fight he ever trained for, he didn't train for the Hatton fight. He only trained for you. Now, do I take that as a compliment or do I take that as a bit of bad luck? I don't know. But you know what? It's history. Yeah. At least I was in there and I went in and I mixed it with the best in the world. Didn't beat the best in the world, but I mixed it with him.
And another one, the Drunken Master, Emmanuel Augustus.
Emmanuel Augustus.
How awkward was he? I mean, obviously we've all seen the footage. Floyd Mayweather says his hardest fight of all time was that guy. And you look at Junior Witter's style and you think maybe he was just doing a smart move, because even if it had beat Junior, he wouldn't have looked good. Do you know what I mean?
No,
but how?
No, exactly.
How awkward was Augustus?
Let me tell you. I'm WBO #1 in the world. WBO #1. I'm IBF #6. The fight before Emmanuel Augustus, I break both hands in a fight against, I can't remember, Revimdus Bilius. I break both hands. So I have to have 10 months out of the ring. So they phoned me up. They said, John, you got a world title fight against some Mexican. Could have been Giovanni Parisi or could have been Gonzalez. I can't remember whether they won or I can't remember, right? But I'm WBO #1. So all of a sudden they say, but you got to have a warm-up fight first, John. You've been out for 10 months. You've got to have a warm-up fight. So who the fuck do they bring in? They bring in Emmanuel Augustus. I'm not being funny. That's bad matchmaking.
Oh, yeah. It's bad luck as well.
Oh, man. But like I say, now, and again, another quote from Brendan Ingle. Youth is wasted on the young. Right?
That's actually Oscar Wilde as well, but you know, he's still an Irishman, so we'll let Brendan have that one.
Yeah, but I go in, we watch a video of him, and we watch Emmanuel Augustus coming forward, putting his hands down, giving it all that. And because I'm young, because I'm knocking everyone out for fun, I'll just beat a Russian guy with 2 broken hands. I think I'm chocolate. You know, I think I'm good enough to eat. I think I'm brilliant. I believe my own headlines. I'm young. I'm stupid. So when I see videos of him doing this, I think, if he does that to me, I'm going to knock him the fuck out. But it doesn't go like that, does it? You know, he took me to school. He took, and there you go. But it's all experience and it's all learning. It's all growing up.
I tell you what was an impressive victory of yours. And up here in the early 90s, this guy was the #1 in the amateur. And that was Alan Temple from Hartlepool. Top international amateur. you know, he still was a decent pro, good solid pro.
Yeah.
But you know, listen, that to get a victory over that man, that was
Twice.
Did you beat him twice?
Yeah, I beat him twice. I'll tell you the story about that because every
Did you
fight tells a
stop him
story
as
with
well?
me. Hey,
Did you stop him?
I stopped him the second time. Right, the first time I boxed him. It's the fight after the Hatton fight. So I fought Hatton and then I fight him. Right? They're looking for someone. It should have been an 8-rounder. Right? Right at the last minute, Frank Warren and Frank Maloney said, no, it's a 4-rounder. So I said, okay, no problem. You know, my money goes down. No problem. I went out there thinking I'd done 12 rounds with Hatton. I'm going to smash this guy up. I'm going to go bombing out there like a sprinter. 4 rounds. Easy. First round, I go bombing out and I drop him. I think, with a body shot, I think. He gets up, carries on fighting. The second round, I go out, I'm bombing him, I'm banging him. By the third round, I'm bloody shattered. And he wins the third round. The fourth round, I'm hanging on because I'm knackered. And he wins the fourth round. Because I knocked him down in the first round, I win by half a point. It was either the half a point system or the 1 point system. But I win by 1 point.
But of course, the half a point doesn't exist anymore.
No, I know it doesn't. It used to. But I think it was the 1 point. I beat him by 1 point. So whenever they turned around and said, oh, your opponent's pulled out, Jono, we've got Alan Temple, I would always turn around and say, no, I don't want Alan Temple. Get me anyone else apart from Alan Temple. I was fucking scared of Alan Temple from Hartlepool. And then, I'm telling you now, I did not want to fight Alan Temple from Hartlepool. And then, we're training. That's coming up to Christmas. We're training. Got a TV date with Mick Hennessy. John Ingle phones up. We're on the way to the weigh-in. John Ingle phones up. Jono, your opponent's pulled out. Don't worry. I got you a replacement. Who you got? I went, Alan Temple. I said, I don't give a shit. Get me someone else. He said, it's Alan Temple or no one. I look at Graham in the car.
I interviewed Alan Temple years ago for a book. Yeah. I'm going to have a look at that book. Can you just finish your story? I'm sure I'm going to read out what he says about you.
And he turned round, and I turned round and looked at Graham. I said, Graham, what do you think we should do? He said, shut up and bloody fight, for fuck's sake. So I then went in absolutely mental. I thought, God, I'm going to show him. And I turned round and I knocked him down, I think, in the first round. I think I stopped him in about the third or fourth round. But for years and years and years, I was scared. I was worried and scared about Alan Temple from Hartlepool. I would not want to fight him, did not want to fight him. But like I said, that night I faced my fears. And I just knew that maybe I was a better fighter.
There's a quote on the screen. Someone's referring to, so John fought my mum's cousin. Are you referring, did you fight Colin Dunn?
I did fight Colin Dunn, yes.
Right.
Yeah. I Temple for everyone at lightweight and lightweight, yeah. Yeah, I did fight Colin Dunn. He stopped me on a cut in about the 5th round. That's the first time I made lightweight. Didn't make it very well. People said Alan, I knocked him down, but I don't think I did.
Right. Do you know, it's in here somewhere. I will try and find it for you. And a man you know very well, Brendan Ingle. I mean, you told me some really special stories the other day regarding Brendan. He was almost like a father to you, wasn't he?
Oh man, Brendan done more for me outside of boxing than he did in in boxing. I don't know how he gave me confidence. Able to talk to people. Like now, I go I've been all over the world doing motivational speaking. He would turn around and say, "Who's got half an hour?" So everyone would do a runner. Think, fuck that, I don't want to. They'd do a runner out of the gym. I'd say, "Oh, I'll come with you, Brendan." We'd go to a school. He'd do a talk. And I'd just listen to it. And I'd think, what am I doing here? But it was an education. It wasn't till later on that I understood what he was doing. And then I started applying it to places around the Norwich area. He used to do talks in old people's home. He used to do talks to businesses. So one day, I go to Sheffield, and this is after my career, and I want to speak to Brendan to thank him for everything he's done for me. So I turned around, I walked into the gym. He said, "Jono, how you doing?" I said, "Brendan, I'll come here." I said, "I got my family over at Meadowhall, shopping. I thought I just want to come over to the gym just to say thank you for everything you've done for me." He said, "Jono, I just done a talk for 30 minutes for £500. I said, "That's brilliant, Brendan. I just done a talk for 30 minutes for £5,000. And he said, "Jono, you cracked it. But if it wasn't for that man, I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing today. And what I'm doing today is I bloody love.
Yeah. I mean, Junior said to me, he said, what Brendan did for the boxers in Sheffield is only actually a smidgen for what he actually did for the whole of the Wingabank community. Is that right?
Yeah. Oh, he helped so many people. And you didn't realise what he was doing while he was doing it. It was only till afterwards you think, that guy's a bloody genius.
I've actually found it, Jono. So,
go on.
So Alan Temple said, John told me afterwards he didn't want the return fight and he didn't want to see me in a boxing ring ever again. Jon Thaxton told John Ingle, his matchmaker, whatever you do, don't get me Alan Temple again. I think it's actually in someone's book. And he obviously just praises you. After the fight, Jon Thaxton said he was glad he put his demons to bed. Obviously, that was when you stopped him.
Yeah.
You know, it's just he speaks highly of you. Alan Temple was a top pro. I mean, can I ask you, the Nassim Ahmed years, you know, he almost, yes, Harold Graham, you know, Brendan Cummel opened the gym in 1961 for a priest. The rest is history. Bomber Graham come, but Naz really was the first one who took it off. What was it like being around? You know, when it was almost like the world was looking at your gym.
Yeah, it was. You know, we had so many champions in the gym, and they were all fighting at different times. That was really given success breeds success, and it was really that. And obviously Naz was leading the pack, and it was just great. It was just great being around him. I used to spar with Naz a lot, and he used to beat the crap out of me. But then I'd do 2 rounds, and Brendan would say, "Jono, out you get." Then I'd do 4 rounds. Out you get. Then I'd do 6 rounds. Out you get 8 rounds. And I'd done better and better and better. And that's what it was with me. I would not give up. But having people like Naz, Johnny, Ryan, Junior, Isham round, it was brilliant. It brought the best out of me.
Yeah, I've spoken to a lot last couple of weeks. Golden Boy Sid, Amir Killer Khan, all that, Kid Galahad. Kel Brook. I mean, I don't think that Ingle Gym will see the likes of what you guys were in this lifetime again.
No, I don't. Well, I don't think so. Who knows? You don't know. But I think we were a great team who looked out for each other and helped each other and encouraged each other and supported each other throughout our careers.
Yeah. Anyone got any questions for Jono? Jono, so what I was going to say to you is, now looking back, and I say this to Junior Witter all the time, he doesn't thank me for it, but now you're middle-aged, You're kicking on 5-0, granddad cap, pipe, slippers. Looking back on your life, British champion, European champion. I think you've won another couple of titles. Are you happy with what you did in boxing? And what do you want to be remembered? How should people remember Jon Thaxton in boxing?
I overachieved. I feel I overachieved. But I overachieved only because I worked bloody hard. I gave everything. I never turned down a fight, and I always gave my best. Yes, I made mistakes, but I always gave my best. So, you know, what more can I say from that? I was an honest pro and done what I could with what I had. But to beat me, you had to kill me. I was very determined.
So when you obviously you fought John Murray in your last fight,
yeah,
you were coming off back-to-back losses. Did
yeah.
you know you had 1 foot out the door?
Yeah, listen, I knew that was my last fight.
Weren't you as well?
What's that? Sorry?
You were about 34 then as well.
Yeah. I didn't have it. I tell you what, I tell you when I went on the slide. Dave Stewart. I was never the same after that. I tell you what, I haven't seen Dave Stewart since. But if anyone's want to watch a fight, that was a hell of a fight. And I went in and we knocked hell out of each other for 12 rounds. And coming out for the last round, I was absolutely gone. Absolutely shattered. I got 3 minutes to go. Graham grabs hold of my cheeks and he says, This belt is for your kids. Do not leave it up to the judges. Go out there and do him. It's that close. Go out there and knock him out. We need it. And I went out about a minute and a half later. I knocked him out or stopped him. But when you need some motivation, that man bloody earned his money that night. Graham grabbed on my cheeks, saying what he said. I needed that. And I went out bombing, finished him. But if you watch me after the fight, I'm in the corner. The referee's waved it off. And I walk back to the corner. And I'm absolutely can't even stand up. I'm absolutely finished.
I'll watch that after. Is it actually on YouTube?
Yeah. At Dave Stewart. That is on YouTube, yeah. Great fight.
I'm not just saying this, and obviously when I send you a book, you realise, but you're mentioned a hell of a lot of times in Junior Witter's book.
That's nice.
And I think the most heartwarming is you're actually mentioned on the last page, and he says, "What I want to be in life, I want to be someone like Jon Thaxton." And I obviously, since you've retired, you've kind of gone out my eyesight. You're not on the telly anymore.
Yeah.
And I said, "What does he do?" And he started telling me about you help people, disabled people, people learn to walk again. And that is one that's really thought-provoking and powerful. When Junior Witter said, "I actually just want to be like Jon Thaxton. That guy deserves a knighthood." Can you tell me more about your work and how did you fall into that and what kind of things you do?
Well, what I do is I've got my own gym now. I've got my own gym and I work with a surgeon. We met, Rachel Hutchinson. We met. I was training her daughter. And I was training her daughter. And my mate got Parkinson's. So I started doing a Parkinson's class, using boxing to help Parkinson's. You know, it stops, 1 minute they're stammering, but when they're boxing, they stop the stutter.
Yeah.
And the shakes. So she said, this would be great for some of the people I work with. So she got me working with these young kids who she was operating on. She's operating on these kids to help them walk. So with the footwork that I learned from Brendan, I started applying that and putting my own signature on everything. And then I started working, making a difference to these young kids. So they just come out of surgery. They come and see me. All of a sudden, I'm getting them to be stronger, more flexible, more coordinated, more balanced, using boxing stances, boxing techniques. And all of a sudden, everyone's thinking, bloody hell, this is brilliant. So we then got together and got a gym made up. It's called Able to Be. Able, number 2, B. Able to Be. And if anyone wants to get on...
I'm just going to say, if anyone who wants to get in touch with Jono, anyone who wants to learn anything, I'm going to put all Jono's links in the bio to this video. Jono, is that okay if anyone can approach you? And
that's brilliant.
So you're going to send me the links. I'll put them all in. So sorry, go on.
Yeah, so it's Able to Be. And like I say, we set this gym up, Able to Be, and it just helps people. Stroke survivors, I've been told to say. Stroke people who's had strokes. All kinds, cerebral palsy. I had these 2 twins. Every doctor, every surgeon, every physio in the land turned around and said, these boys will never walk. They were with me for 55 minutes and I got them walking. Now, that's life-changing. And we've made so many life-changing... We've got so many life-changing results. It's phenomenal. And like I said, we've had people come all the way from Hull to Norwich on the train, spend an hour with us, then drive back to, or then get the train back to Hull. Because they want to make a difference. And we make a difference to so many people. You've got to see it to believe what we do. I'm so proud and I'm so privileged to be in a job, in a business that I do. I absolutely love it. People say, do you miss boxing? I say, no. They say, no, you had a great career. I said, no. I love doing now more than I did boxing. Love it.
And it's more rewarding.
There's not many people who can drive home every night knowing they made a difference to someone's life. And I love that.
Yeah. And of course, Brendan kind of steered your future, if you like, didn't he?
Without a doubt. If it wasn't for that man, I'm telling you now, I don't know where I'd be. I don't know where I'd be, because I wasn't very bright at school. I didn't leave school with much. Brendan always said to me, Jono, if you finish your career and you got your house paid off, you cracked it. Well, I've done that plus some. But more than that, because Norwich is a small place, I made a little bit of a name for myself in Norwich. So people know me and have heard of me. So it does give me a little bit of a leg up when I am doing stuff around the Norwich area. And that has, even though I've been retired for many, many years now, that still has, I've still followed that on. People still do remember the boxing days I used to have.
And are you still in love with the game? Because I know you're not involved like junior Isha.
No, to be fair, I did become a trainer when I retired. I did become a trainer, but I'll be honest here. I take my hat off to all them pro trainers, professional trainers. I used to think I worked hard as a boxer. Them trainers work a lot harder. They're the first in the gym. They're the last out the gym.
Yeah.
All I had to worry about was myself. They have to worry about everything else. So yeah, I take my hat off to every professional trainer.
And do you ever go up to Sheffield to kind of reminisce and look at the gym, or say obviously Brendan's now named after him?
Yeah. When I don't go up Sheffield, but I am planning to. I do want to go up to Sheffield. For the medal hall, I love the shopping centre there. I spent a lot of hours there. But also just to turn around and pop in the gym again to say, Dominic Ingle, they're good lads. And they done a hell of a lot for me as well in my career as well. Dominic and John as well. Even though because I started my career with the Ingalls, and I spent many years there. Then I finished my career with Graham Everett, but we always had the Ingle connection. Dominic was always in my corner as a cutsman. John was always there getting me fights. So we always had some involvement with the Ingalls, and I'm so glad I always had that.
And Norwich to Sheffield's a bit of a distance as well, isn't it?
147 miles.
Right.
147 miles from my house to the gym.
I'm going to ask you a couple of questions, and I just want one name answers.
Yeah.
Who was the best you ever fought as an amateur?
Oh, I only had 9 amateur fights. Georgie Smith.
Oh, the Londoner who went pro.
Yeah.
Oh, right. How did you get on?
I lost on points.
Right. Who was the best you fought as a professional?
Emmanuel Augustus.
Right. Hardest you've ever been hit as a pro?
Scrap Iron Ryan.
Oh, so he caught you before you got...
With a jab.
Wow. Is that... Can I just ask you? I haven't watched that fight for years, but is that on YouTube as well?
Yeah, Scrap Iron is, yeah.
I'm going to go watch that as well. I'm actually have a Jon Thaxton night. My wife will be... Who was the best you ever fought? Sorry, who was the best you ever sparred with?
Nassim Hamid.
Right. And your hero in life.
Ooh, cool.
I take it, Brendan.
Brendan Ingle. I got met Brendan Ingle, Bruce Lee, but like I said, Bruce Lee was someone I looked up to that got me into martial arts and got me into boxing. My dad, who's always been there in the background. Could be many people I've always looked up to. Many people. My mum was a massive supporter of mine.
And I take it you've met the who's who in British boxing. Have you ever met anyone, John, and you've been starstruck?
Do you know what? I'll tell you this now, right? I got a call a few years ago from this company. John, I want you to be a guest of honor, a guest at our dinner we're doing. I said, yeah. I said, who's, yeah, what do you want? And I'm thinking how much I'm going to charge him. You know, they want me to be a guest. They want me to give up my time. I said, what do you want me to do? Nothing, John. We don't want you to do that. We just want you to be a guest. Okay. Yeah. What am I doing? No, you're just sitting next to Sugar Ray Leonard. I went, yeah. Oh my God. Do you know what? Someone I looked up to there. I met him. Yeah. Yeah. How you doing? You all right? Good. Trying to speak to him. So what sort of training did you do? I trained very hard. He was not giving me no time of day. Not giving me no time of day.
Yeah, very sad.
And I was so disappointed. I was gutted. Who was your hardest fight? I had a lot of hard fights. Carried on eating his dinner. Not interested in me. People say never meet your heroes. Yeah. And I just thought, man. Then the same company wanted me to go. They had Mike Tyson there. And I said, I'm not me. I don't want to go. Don't want to go. And they said, you are going. You're going. He was absolutely brilliant. Had all the moments for me. Spoke about me in his talk. He was brilliant. So, you know, from one extreme, Sugar Ray Leonard, God, couldn't give me time of day, to someone like Mike Tyson, who absolutely really made an effort and really made a difference to how I looked at him.
And of course, he's a proper student of boxing, so would he have known who you were already?
He started speaking to me about Ricky Hatton. He started speaking to me about the Ricky Hatton fight. Now, whether he was told about it or not, I don't know. He most probably was said, look, that kid fought a kid called Ricky Hatton, had a hell of a fight. And he wanted to talk to me about Ricky Hatton, how hard the fight was and this. And I was just overjoyed that the guys showed a lot of interest in me.
Yeah. Do you know what? I mean, Junior's book, listen, there's some strong stuff in there. Not just the Ricky Hatton chapter. There's the bit of the filthy, rotten industry, the skullduggery inside boxing
Yeah.
that the people, the fans don't see, but
Don't see
you
it.
know people don't. People stand on the scales and getting off. People bribery, the fake fight. There's such a world of rotten. I mean, Nick Manners. I'm doing a Nick Manners biography. I don't know whether you know him. Leeds.
Yes.
Yeah, he fought Calzaghe, not Paul Sykes. So he's turned his life around. It's a bit like you. He uses boxing as a vehicle to help kids.
Yeah.
And he said to me, very poignant quote. He said, "There's more decency and honour in Armley Prison than there is inside of the British boxing that industry." Can you
Yeah.
understand what that point is?
Yeah, I can in a way. Yeah, I look at it like this. Boxing's a business,
Yeah.
and that's what it is. So, same again with Junior and Ricky Hatton. Business wasn't right. If Junior would have beat Ricky, it wasn't. It wouldn't have been good for business. That's it's what it is, and you got to take it for what it is. A
Yeah.
business.
I mean,
That's how I look at it now.
You've got one guy who has every Man City fan in the world following him, every Oasis fan, and the other guy is from Bradford, boxes out of Sheffield, doesn't support a football team, is not. I mean, I really like Junior and I get him, but on screen, he didn't come across charismatic. He wasn't, yes, he was a bit flamboyant with his music, his colours, but he didn't wanna be likable. He is a very likable guy. You know that. You know him a lot better.
He's a good lad. He's a brilliant lad. I love him.
Yeah.
But
you know what?
he
If he
wasn't
had
a
his
marketable fighter like Hatton.
He said, "That's the one thing I probably would change." He said it was a business. He said, "I didn't get it because I thought I'll just be champion, British, Commonwealth, European. I'll make it on merit. But boxing is a business, and it's a filthy business."
Yeah, it is. Yeah, I'll go with that. I'll go with that.
So, anything you want to tell me, John, or is anything you want to finish up on?
No, like I said, I enjoy going back over memories, good memories. Even the memories where I get beat up. Emmanuel Augustus. It's great because boxing's made me into the man I am today. Good, bad, different. Win, lose a fight. I never lost a fight. I'll tell you that I never lost a fight. I won and I learned.
Yeah.
That L never stood for a loss to me. That L was a learn. You win and you learn. If you don't learn, then it's a bloody loss.
Do you know, I've never heard that expression, but I lost loads as an amateur, far more than I won. So I learned loads.
Yeah, you learned loads. There you go. It don't count all the time, though. It don't count all the time.
So, John, it's been an absolute privilege and a pleasure, mate. When Junior's book is coming out, I'm going to be finishing it this week. I've got 3 more. Well, Kilbrook, Golden Boy Sid. It was a box. Do you know him?
Yes, Sid. Yeah, Sid.
Yeah. Tassif Khan.
Boy. Is that what they call him? Golden Boy.
Golden Boy Sid. That's just Junior's best mate. So you can always speak. But I can assure you, mate, you get a load of Baron, Ricky Hatton, Floyd Mayweather, and maybe Brendan Ingle. I think you're the most talked about person in this book. I think you mentioned something like 46 times. It is ridiculous. And at the end, when he's summing up, he said, "You know what? I just want to be like Jon Thaxton." And I was like, "What does Jon Thaxton do these days?" You know what I mean? But it's unbelievable what you do, mate. So I'm going to put all the. Can you just give me a shout again what you do? I'm going to put all the links in the bio. Anyone who wants to get in touch with former British European champion Jon Thaxton, very friendly, very approachable. Click on the bio and it'll go directly to him.
Yeah, like I say, I'm on Instagram, Jon Thaxton _fitness, I think. I work at able 2B. Get on our website, Instagram us, Facebook us, find out what we do. Look at our videos. You will see some phenomenal results. on our videos. Absolutely brilliant. Go on, spend some time. Look at what we do. Look at the difference we make. And look at the difference we could make to someone you may know, that we could help you. Because I tell you what, there's so many things we want to do. We're branching out. We're trying to make it a national business. We want to go nationwide. We want to put gyms everywhere. Everything we do is phenomenal. And you've got to see it to believe what we do and what we achieve through the art of fitness, belief, confidence. And I tell you what, having good fun.
Yeah. And it's not like Junior Witter, Isham Pickering's training kids, Ryan Rhodes. You're doing it. You're training for life. These people are training to be stronger physically, mentally, better mental health, discipline. So it's just you're training people for recovery in life.
Yeah. Yeah. We and I said this earlier, but we change people's lives. You would not believe. Like I said, it doesn't work for everyone. Of course it doesn't. But I tell you what, the amount of people we do bloody well. We
Fantastic.
make a difference every day.
Absolute pleasure, mate. Listen, I watched your career since I read about you as a 15-year-old in the Boxing News. Who's this guy? Knocked Scrap Iron Ryan out.
Yeah.
Followed you. You know, I personally could never see you becoming a Brit, certainly a European. And then you did. You done unbelievable things like a decade after I first seen you. And I think as you went better on and as you got mature, you become more of a better fighter. Do you know what, mate? You have a good, solid career you could be proud of, mate. It's an absolute pleasure to speak to you, sir. God bless, and we'll keep in touch. Sorry, go on.
No, it's been brilliant. I really enjoyed it. Really enjoyed it. I hope everyone else has as well. Like I say, get in touch if you need, if you want to ask me any questions, but fantastic. Jamie, it's been a pleasure.
Absolute pleasure, sir. I'll be in touch, and of course, I will send you the Junior Witter book when it comes out.
Thank you very much. I look forward to it.
Sir.
All the best.